boyfriend has been living with me for a month and a half and now refuses to pay his half of rent. I, 19F, moved out and started renting an apartment in November of 2020. In February of 2021, my boyfriend, 21 meters, moved into the apartment with me due to his own circumstances requiring him to move. He had no job, so when he moved in we agreed that he wouldn't have to pay rent until he got a job, and once he got a job he'd have to pay half the rent and electricity. That seemed fair to me, and he agreed to it. Not too long after he moved in, he got a job, and has had said job for almost a month now. Today being the first, rent is obviously due. So I texted him and asked if he could Venmo me his half of the rent, and instead of just a simple yes, he asked to talk about it when he got home from work. I said okay I guess, but what is there to talk about? He said that since he's not happy with the apartment, it's decorated to my liking. Since I lived there for 4 to 5 months first, there was a hot water issue which has since been fixed, and a few other things. He wanted to look at other apartments, which we have been, and planned on breaking our lease because of the hot water issue, but can't anymore since they fixed it. He couldn't pay rent. Keep in mind he has been bragging for months about how much he has in his savings because we have very different spending habits. I guess what I'm asking is, what do I do? He finally agreed to Venmo me the money with a bit of attitude, but I have yet to receive the Venmo. Am I asking too much of him? Am I assuming unfair things? I didn't think half of the rent was too much to ask because he's living there full time, and I didn't think half the electricity was too much to ask either because he plays video games on his PC quite a bit, and often forgets to turn lights off around the apartment, whereas I'm very anal about turning all unused lights off. Rent covers all other utilities. Please help. Edit. Here's an update after a long discussion and lots of crying. I'm not sure many of you will be too happy since a lot of you suggested we break up, but I didn't want to just give up and take an easy out over something that could have been a misunderstanding, which is exactly what it was. He was at work when the text conversation went down, so he was responding when he could and responding as fast as he could so as not to get in trouble. When he said he didn't want to pay rent, he meant that he didn't want to Venmo me today because he gets paid tomorrow, so he wanted to wait until tomorrow. But also a lot of you are right and I have been missing a lot of red flags. I brought them up, and we sat down and had a long conversation about all of it. Our conclusion was that he is going to find his own place and move out, and we will see how the relationship progresses from there, and when my lease is up we will reevaluate and determine if it's healthy for me to move into his place or if I need to continue to live on my own. A lot of you were concerned about my codependency issues and whether or not I'm getting therapy for it. I see a therapist once a week, and have been working for a long time on my issues. I had a very rough childhood filled with abuse of every kind, eating disorders, and a multitude of mental issues passed down genetically as well. I sought out the worst men I could and it led to a lot more issues. I have definitely gotten better, but codependency isn't something you fix overnight. I know it's not the update a lot of you wanted, but I hate giving up, and to me I didn't think this was something to break up over. He did Venmo me the money, and my rent is paid. As of right now, we're watching a movie and trying to wind down. Thank you to those of you who offered kind words, and thank you to those of you who offered advice. And fuck you to those of you who offered harsh words and even took time out of your day to private message me hurtful things. I may be a softie and I may try my best to be gentle and kind, but I don't and won't put up with that. What the fuck? He moved into your apartment. Of course it's decorated to your liking. That's not a reason to not share the rent. You get the money and tell him he can move out until you both find a place together that's to both your liking. You're not a fucking homeless shelter. Tell him to move out. Tell him to pay up or move out. If you're living together, shared expenses and rent are a fair deal. That an apartment isn't entirely decorated to his liking is a lame excuse, as well as the heater not working. If he's already having this much difficulties keeping his word early on, I would advise against renting something together already. You have only been living together since February and he's already giving you shit about carrying his weight. Imagine what it will be like a few years down the road. Things could get much worse. He needs to 1. Pay rent, or 2. Move out. It's just that simple. I saw messages in my boyfriend's phone of his ex say she regretted their breakup and wasn't expecting him to move on so quick. I said in the title she was his ex, but that's not the case. They were just friends. He met her in November 2019 through friends in common and she was in a relationship at the time. They got closer and started talking every day since February 2020. At some point in either June or July, she broke it off with her boyfriend. They continued talking and she told my boyfriend she didn't want anything serious, but they did get involved sexually and would go on dates. But all through August she started distancing herself from him until he confronted her about it, and she told him that right at that moment it would be better if they broke it off even if it wasn't serious in the first place, because she's not a person capable of not catching feelings, and right at that moment she wanted to be alone. He accepted and they decided to not talk anymore through text every day and would rather just communicate in their group chat and in outings, like normal friends. So yeah, they had this conversation in late August 2020, 1 or 2 weeks before we started hanging out. So their drama and me and him meeting practically overlapped. I didn't know anything about it, keep in mind, and he didn't identify the girl as his friend I'd already met before, until January 2021. He would say before that he was seeing a girl for a little bit, but it didn't lead to anything and he had a lot of expectations that didn't match with reality, so he lost interest. I met her and the rest of the friend group in October 2020 and I swear to God I remember thinking how weird they interacted with each other. She ignored him all night, and he didn't seem bothered by it at all. So I just assumed they weren't that close and she was just there because she was part of the group. Well, apparently not. Anyway, he told me about all of this after we've already hung out multiple times together and me being completely oblivious to all of it. He said it was because he wanted to be honest with me and he could have chosen to not say anything, but he didn't, so I should not question him about it. I obviously had a lot of question, mostly if I was just some sort of distraction, if he was just trying to make her jealous, etc etc. Well, apparently I wasn't wrong when I assumed she was bothered by my presence and was very weird around him, because yesterday I was cleaning the dust in his apartment. I help out because I spend a lot of the time there with him, and I was cleaning the bedside table and his phone was resting there. I picked it up and it lit up and on the screen was a WhatsApp message from Rachel, which is the girl. Curiosity just got the best of me and I checked the messages, not in WhatsApp because she would know he had seen it, but in the notifications tab or whatever it's called, and it basically said, among other chit-chatty stuff, that she didn't realize that he would move on so quick because they had told each other let's see what the future will bring when she broke things off, and that it was a shock to see him with me in October. She realized maybe she did a mistake. I think there was a lot more, but I couldn't check everything because I didn't want to open up his messages. Anyway, it's the next day. He has been with his phone multiple times, so it's not like he hasn't seen it, but he didn't say anything. I don't know. He might be cheating on me right now for all I know. Might be talking to her about very intimate stuff that happened between them in the past, and I honestly feel it's kind of disrespectful since I'm his girlfriend. What should I do? I don't want to have to tell him I checked his messages. Maybe I could just explain it lit up and I saw her name and I could just bring it up innocently, just mentioning how I thought they weren't that close anymore, so why would she be texting him? I am not seeing anything that would be absolutely inappropriate here. He is still friends with a woman that he went out with. She was not in the same place as him and broke things off. Now she is reaching out indicating that she is hurt because he moved on so soon. There is no indication that he is spending time with her one-on-one. All you know is she sent him one message. From what you know, he has done nothing inappropriate at all. Even if she reached out and said this, you do not know what his reaction is. Since they are in the same friend group, he could very well be answering her concerns to maintain the peace. For all you know, he told her he is happy in his current relationship and wished her the best. Talk to your boyfriend. Ask questions. Discuss your insecurities. Everyone has insecurities. How we deal with them is what really defines us. Do not go off on him. Talk to him and discuss his interactions with her. If you find out they are inappropriate, move on. If not, then stay together. Either way, you know the answer once you talk about it. Talk it out. You could say something along these lines: hey, I saw an excerpt of a message from Rachel in the notification tab of your phone's lock screen yesterday. It wasn't intentional, it flashed as I was cleaning, but I did take notice of her discussing our relationship. I can't stop thinking about it and it's making me uncomfortable. Could you elaborate on what she said, for my sake? As for cheating, I don't think there's something going on purely because of how casual she's with him, but reading the room when you have the conversation should clue you in further. Edit, word. I'm guessing you all are fairly young. This cat and mouse game was something I experienced in my late teens and early 20s but disappeared for the most part once I was older and more experienced, same with those I became involved with. I wouldn't overthink this. Seems clear to me she didn't know what she wanted so broke it off. He respected that, and since it was a FWB situation, he didn't have much invested and was able to avert his attention without much problem. However, after seeing you, she got jealous and apparently is trying to restake her original claim. That's not how it works. You and your BF now have about 9 months invested in a relationship and that ship has sailed for her a while ago. I would give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not cheating. However, I do think it's reasonable to request him not communicate with her based on what she said and that you are uncomfortable. If it were me, I'd tell him directly that you saw a message from her while cleaning and you tried to ignore it but it did not sit well with you and you had to say something. You can't explain what you are feeling in a mature and honest way without confessing that you read the messages. Want to make my woman comfortable. Hello all, my wife will come live with me in the next 2 weeks. I live in Germany and she is in India now. I would like to make her feel at home and comfortable. I am learning all the food that she likes. Can you all help me in letting me know the little things that women like in their homes? My place is just a man's representation of hard basic stuff. I want to make it more homely. Please help a brother out. Thanks in advance. Make sure you have a bin inside all the bathrooms, this is important. Make sure the bed sheets are clean, have plenty of clean towels spare, maybe you can greet her with flowers that you can put in the living room afterwards. Hope it all goes well, smile. Yes, my friend's partner told me about flowers. Do the flowers look good on the coffee table or something specific? Thank you for taking the time. You're so fucking cute, homie. Ask her what she likes. If she has a sister or mom you can talk to, ask them for tips too. Make sure your house has a lot of the colors she likes. Does she like purple? Get purple hand towels, my guy. Women have more sensitive skin and sensitivity to scents, so get a lidded bin for laundry. Wash your damn sheets regularly. I have 2 sets of sheets and wash them both every week. And find out what smells she likes. Get that shit as candles. Keep a candle in every bathroom, the kitchen, and living room, and bedroom. Just candle the fuck out of your apartment. Otherwise, keep shit neat and tidy and clean. I like your energy. Yes, clean and neat have been lodged in my mind. Can't live like I used to. Sheets I'm getting this weekend. Her favorite colors is a good call. Thank you. Ask her. Maybe the 2 of you can go shopping when she arrives and pick out new sheets/bedding, pillows, dishes and so forth. I'm sure she will appreciate being able to decorate your place with you.